In this presentation, we examine the vision and founding principles of sunlightrights.org. We also dive into what Sunlight Rights does, and who they're working for. Sunlight Rights is founded by H. Blaine Walker and Michael Anderson. Both are invested in income property that incorporates solar as part of the property's income before tax, return, and tax savings plan, post-tax return. In the process, both have examined why there are limits preventing the effective expansion of solar collection on private properties. Their questioning led them to an understanding of why solar income-producing properties are limited. This is their conclusion, due to economic market constraints and a misunderstanding, because of a lack of communication, on how to operate within the power grid as a private power producer. With these questions in mind, Sunlight Rights decided to work with utility companies, regulators, and private power producers to seek more equitable solutions for all parties involved. Mr. Anderson and Walker believe the sunlight that falls on your property belongs to you, and it is a fundamental property right to harvest its light and convert it into usable energy for your own personal use and monetization. Utility companies perform a vital, third-party role of distributing power to homes effectively. They also have an understanding of how to monetize energy that is produced from solar collection capabilities. By providing an equitable distribution of retail power sales between utility companies and private power producers, based on their respective capital investments, will bring about the massive adoption of photovoltaic, solar, technology. In turn, resulting in drastic improvements for the environment as well as the economic value of real estate capable of producing electricity from solar collection. To bring about these indefinitely valuable changes for property owners, we seek your affiliation too. Help us understand what works with your local utility companies. Some of the best structural ideas come from utility companies that have adopted strong working relationships with their private power producers on their local grids. Some examples are detailed on our site. If selling your excess power does not work in your area, we want to hear about it. It lets us know where to point resources and take affirmative action. We will work with private power producers in an effort to better educate them about the power grid and the distribution of solar power. We will work with the utility companies to help them understand the advantages of a decentralized, local, low-cost power coming on the grid when excess energy is needed. Let us know about pending legislation and Public Service Commission activities in your area, so we can be there to support the effort to establish or preserve equitable valuation of privately produced power. Your ideas are important to us. How can we best support your efforts to get the maximum value from your investment into solar collection? We want to know your thoughts and opinions regarding anything solar. Now, let's take a closer look at what Sunlight Rights does when we in our affiliate network identify an area where we can help bring about positive change. The geographic location in this presentation may not be representative of the need for change but is simply used for illustrative purposes. The first step is to work with our local affiliates, subscribers, and social media followers to assemble like-minded individuals who believe in clean, sustainable energy and the right of private power producers to receive equitable consideration for the power they produce for the grid. We also work with the solar industry including manufacturers, installers, and retailers to gain further support. Additionally, we look to coalesce around existing, national, and local advocacy groups and their lobbyists to share end objectives with our beliefs and support their voice in this discussion. Most importantly, we seek to understand the needs of the local utility companies and look for areas of mutual interest as a basis for forming a mutually agreeable policy. Finally, we seek out legislators and regulators to validate and codify the agreements decided upon and implemented the new laws into public policy. In negotiating equitable agreements with utility companies, there may be many factors to consider. For example, what are the current sustainable energy mandates the utility company may be trying to meet? What is the local power demand curve and pricing? How does the state, that the utility is operating in, function within PURPA and the Energy Policy Act of 2005. Further, the resulting avoided rate when purchasing power from non-qualifying producers. For private power producers, it may be a matter of when and how to put power on the grid to maximize its value. This may require the storage of surplus power through batteries that reside on private property. Current policy controls how that energy enters the grid and at what price. For more information, please see Solar Energy Institute Association, the Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978 PURPA 101 at cia.org. The result that we seek is an equitable alliance between the private solar producers and the utility companies they serve. The ideal outcome is the utility company, its shareholders, and the private power producers come to an agreement of fair distribution of revenue, where the public receives the benefit of locally produced, low-cost, clean energy, stored and used in a safer manner. If successful, there is much to be gained by all individuals involved. We are working for the private power producer. If you own solar production units on your commercial building, investment property, or your own home, you are probably aware of its ability to lower or eliminate your electric bill. Perhaps you have already joined the overwhelming trend toward electric vehicles, EVs, or your commercial fleet is being replaced by EVs. If you own rental properties, you may have noticed many of your tenants are driving EVs. Regardless, your solar system can generate the power to charge those vehicles. If you own an EV for personal use, this could be a substantial cost saving compared to traditional fossil fuels. Individual savings compound when charging your EV with the power produced from your own roof. If you own commercial or rental properties, adding retail charging stations to your property can be a new highly profitable revenue source when selling your solar energy. Finally, pending a satisfactory power purchase agreement with your local utility company, it can be a source of passive income. If you own investment property, you may find on your cost versus return segregation accounting, your solar system provides the highest rate of return on investment if the value of the power it produces approaches comparable generated market prices. This final point is why we work for the private power producers. We are working for utility companies that are facing the rapid growth of disruptive technology within their industry. One of the keys to working with utility companies is understanding their power generation needs, based on their unique demand curve. Once that need requirement is established, it becomes a critical next step to educate the private power production community on how and when to put power on the grid based around the utility's demand needs. This may require the private power producer to use battery storage and electricity management programs to achieve this goal. One great advantage of building coalitions between utility companies and private power producers is helping the utility meet sustainable energy requirements in a highly cost-effective manner. Traditionally, a utility wanting to add solar to their generation system would have to acquire or lease a large tract of land that had no other economic base than solar energy production to construct a traditional solar farm. Working with homeowners, commercial property owners, and income property owners who produce excess power, they can meet sustainability requirements with little or no cash outlay and supports the return on investments for the solar producing community members they serve. Because this power is locally produced, you eliminate the need for long-line transmission systems to transmit power to the consumer, making the grid safer and more reliable. This also has the additional benefit of decentralizing the source of generation, eliminating single points of failure. And of course, because solar generation has become the lowest cost of power generation and the cost basis is already substantiated by the property's primary use, the utility receives the benefit of low-cost energy. Please take a moment to join us as we work to establish public policy in your area, bringing change that makes private investment in solar systems more profitable, supports utility companies with clean, safe, inexpensive energy, and most importantly, a better outcome for our Earth and environment. Go to the bottom of the sunlightrights.org homepage to the subscribe form to join in. We do not seek your financial backing, although we do need your principled, intellectual support. As you unite with us, you have our sincere gratitude.